Greetings, dear precious, magnificent spirit soul that you are. And even those are words that can never describe who you are, because you are beyond words. You are beyond the cosmos. You are a divine being. Guess what? My topic. Oh, and there's a little light snow today up at the lake. A little bit more wind. It's really cool because in nature, it's a flow that goes on. I say, my topic, recreate your life. Say, recreate your life. Some people say reinvent yourself. Well, you don't need to invent yourself. That's part of the world things. I have to invent myself to make myself something that I'm not, but it'll make me a product or it'll make me valuable or whatever it may be. You have to disassociate yourself from all of these labels and all of these concepts and all of these beliefs. And many years ago, I did a retreat up at my Adventures in Enlightenment Retreat Center in Washington State. And I did the 21-day experiment because it takes, they say, science or whatever, takes 21 days to change a habit. And it's 3 cycles of 7. That means if you do something every day for 21 days, you're going to have a habit. Well, there's also another, that's a beginning step. But you also know the more you gain spiritual strength, you don't gain it, you activate your spiritual strength, because what you don't use, you lose. It becomes dormant, and people don't know they have it, so they just believe their thoughts and the mind programming and the hypnotic trance and, whatever is the meme going and whatever is the movie of the week and whatever. So all of this kind of stuff, this is all words, sounds, emotions, talking, thinking, analyzing, figuring out, feeling, hating, liking, but it's keeping people going all the time. And I'm going to talk about this experiment, and because I'm working with one of the people do it as a Grandmaster mentor. I'm mentoring in the Grandmaster program that I do. And what happened is when he came to me, he had got caught up in everything in his life running him. So he's always like feeling he's just underwater, and he's trying to grasp to get up to the top. Is he just paying the bills and doing the thing, and you get just automatic, bam, 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 bam. No fun, worry. I was there. The fears, the worry, the stress, unbelievable, always fear, and trying to catch up. Then you're on edge, and you might lose it and get mad, and and it happens. All this stuff. And what happens, and when I did the 21-day experiment, I set it up so that, and they came to the retreat center, all the different activities that were done. First of all, they all that were there, we had about 10 people, told me what they wanted to attain. And so, of course, we get into where that is and what is and all that sort of thing. And then everything is set up for them to attain that. And to we did yoga and stretching and that sort of thing. I had a trampoline that people used. We did a watermelon feast. Not a fast, but a lot of watermelon. And this one woman who had come to the 21-day experiment, she had emphysema so bad she couldn't hardly make it from the car to the back of the lodge, back of the door. And it wasn't far. It's like you're out in your parking lot. Out in your driveway almost. You walk to the front door, exhausted. So after 3 days of the watermelon and the plant, not that we're going to do that, but this is what I did at that time, and it's very interesting. The watermelon also helping to clean the kidneys and such. She felt so much better after 3 days. She chose to do that for, I believe it was 19 days. Everybody else, we were in the, good vegetarian, and, we also had raw milk at the time, but there was also vegan. We were doing all and did all of the different processes. And in that time, for her, The 20th day, we took a 5-mile hike on Mount Rainier, and she did it. 5 miles she hiked on Mount Rainier, you see. And what happens is, most people, they're underwater. Everything's taking us. It's like the cart is driving the horse, and it's everything's in reverse, and so people are just frantic, and then all this fatigue that people have, and then the fighting and the conflict and what's going on and keeping us focused, and then you got the media and the this and the the circuses and all this. But anyway, so part of then what the process in this, and working with the student, the wonderful student, is get outside your story. See, when you're immersed in it, it's like you're not outside of it. So you're caught in the fear. You're caught in the thing itself. Remember one time I took, I think it was about 22 people. We went to New Zealand, Australia, Tahiti, and that sort of thing. And in New Zealand, we took helicopter ride up to, on this mountain, up to the top of this, what do you call it? River rafting. And it was like, it was a number 5, but there wasn't that as much water in it. So it wasn't, that wide, but it's big. And so we got in our, our rafts and all of this. But we had all the gear on, you got the life preserver, you got the main guy in the boat who's, experienced and all this. So at one point, a woman fell in out of our boat. And she had a big heavy body. But now she's screaming and yelling. And her friend is saying, she's going to die. She's going to die. It's like, see, everybody, when you're in the story, basically you do think you're going to die, but you can't. People don't get that. That's the good news and the bad news, but it's really the good news because you're an eternal being, you see. So when you want to recreate your life, it's almost like a person they need to get outside their story, and you also need to start to get outside that life where you start doing that where you want your life to go. But see, people say, well, I don't have enough money, so they have an excuse. Well, I've got all these things, I don't have any time. But you take a look at how much time you maybe spend on these electronic devices that are not really going anywhere, but they are an addiction in that way. And the key here, and we had phenomenal results. We had people that came that had given up basically on their lives. This one man had lost his partner and his mate and had no joy. And he was a wonderful, from the UK, I won't mention his name, but a musician and singer and writer and a piano player. And I had my grand piano there so he could play. But anyway, he regained his life and his force. And every person there. And I realized, see, when you have an environment that's set up for the person, for you, for anyone, to attain a certain result, whatever, that is so conducive to that person really recreating their life in any way they desire. But the first thing then you have to, as you step out of your story, you see, and begin to not be in the center of your story where you're overwhelmed by the effects. You need to step out of that and to be able to view it, you see. And then as you view it, and this is a challenge, this next step, because you got a lot of people that do not want to tell the truth. They do not want to admit a mistake, and that's no problem. That's the key. It's great. You just have to get what it was and let it go and own it, you see. But what happens is people want to hide the mistake because it's all about, what do other people think of me? What will they think of me? What will they... You remember my book. I suggest you get it. What you think of me is none of my business. And in the new Lotus magazine that's coming out, this is in, springtime, I've got an article on there, and I think you can go online and you could read it. You can get the magazine, Lotus magazine, and it's you are not what you think of you isn't any of your business, because when you start to really get what it is that's been producing our lives the way they have been in so many ways, and preventing us from living in the way that fulfills truly the joy of our own divine being, the soul, we see that when you get caught up in the story, you believe you are the role that you're playing. You believe that you are the job. You believe that you are this and that. And then you take on all these different qualities, all this so-called race consciousness, which means the consciousness of the human race, where everybody's racing, competing against each other. And that keeps the positive and negative of the battery going. And then people can't get out of that, because if they don't keep on, they're going to lose, they're going to get behind, they're not going to have what they want. It's overwhelming, you see. That's why I'm going to be doing some more 21-day experiments, and it's part of the divine experiment. And when you do this, and you can attain anything, it's like having a fresh, clean start in everything, to have it be the way that really serves your mission and purpose. And most people don't know what their mission and purpose is, but you could even make it up. It's not about that, but we all ultimately have the same really purpose ultimately, which is the full, complete liberation of our true divine self. The activation, not just liberation, activation, realization, spontaneity, and yes, all of this. So first of all, and this is the first step, like, to start looking at that. And and in my work, I love that work that I'm doing, that I can be there to assist you in any way. So you can go to the website, terrycolewhittaker.com. I'm going to be putting up new information. We might be calling retreats advances, because we're not retreating from anybody. We are advancing, and it's actually realizing, activating your divine and your cosmic divine self. So today could be the first day of the rest of your eternal, magnificent existence, because you are eternal. And the very first step is you want to get out of the story. And you begin to watch it, and you see, oh, okay, this is the result of my choices and my beliefs. And when you get this, when you change this, when you make it fit your ideal within your heart, and then you're in a whole other place, and you're in your divine power. And this is important, to increase your divine power, your spiritual powers. And you can do this. And right now, where you are, it doesn't matter what's gone on, what's been before, how many things you have, but most people are so attached to that story, they don't even want to tell the truth about how it got there, by every single choice that we've ever made, you see. And not that we did that because we knew what our choices were going to do. And I have a really good book on that. It's Prospering Choices, but I self-published that myself. And I use animal stories to tell, about how people are and what's happening. But you have to have this knowledge so that you know how everything operates, and you know how to empower yourself. And in fact, I also do trainings to help others be empowerment and enrichment facilitators. See, that's what we do. We work for you to empower you, and enrichment to facilitate that for you. You do it, but facilitate it. Set it all up so that it always works. Okay. Anyway, enough for now. Love you lots. Thank you for contributing. If you're getting value, thank you for donating to this, because this is a nonprofit organization. And the more you can contribute when you can, the more we're able to get this out to the greater number of people. And I said, please help us do that as you get that out. If you like this feels good, think about what it'd be like to live in a world where everybody was conscious, knew who they were, and enriching and empowering to everyone, including themselves. And it's all possible. Mwah.